Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 4 of Deadhorses and DDTs. I am Cody White. This here is Josh Wabber.
That's me.
Today, there's a lot to discuss.
Oh yeah, this is gonna be. We gotta keep things moving here. No dawdling today.
Oh yeah,
We got a lot to cover. We got the inaugural Rampage, the Dynamite that followed, the Rampage after that, and tonight's Dynamite. We got 4 episodes to cover here, pal.
yeah. It's and that's gonna be what it's like from now on. Really, 4 episodes, and
Yep.
but I don't think much more. I mean, let's just get into it. I guess nothing this big is going to happen every 4 weeks or every 2 weeks. So and obviously by now everybody knows. You're listening to this a week after it happened. CM Punk is all elite. I don't even have words, Josh. I just don't even have words. I cried, I smiled a lot, I cried some more, and I watched the entire thing 6 times, potentially more.
I'm right there with you, buddy. I was here. I said I'm not going to dawdle. I was out of town this weekend and wasn't able to watch Rampage, so I unfollowed wrestling on all my socials. I tried to stay away from any news, assuming something was coming. Obviously we knew it was going to be Punk, but I just kind of wanted to wait and see how it was going to happen, and it was great. I mean, chills. The entrance, the cheers, just him drinking it all in, and then he finally talks. I mean, chills, goosebumps. It was great. It was great.
And that pop.
Oh, the pop! I mean, it was unreal. They just came right out with it. I was excited. There's always fun in a surprise appearance that you don't expect. A la Malachi Black, a la. I mean, and any of the names that have come through, but everybody knew Punk was coming. I don't think they could have done it any other way than they did it, and they just embraced it. And they're like, "Fuck it, it's just the first thing we're doing. Send him out." Yeah, and I mean, what a Dynamite start.
Yeah, and taking 30 minutes, they took their time with it, which was super important. I was worried about how it was going to happen in an hour show, and they did it so well. They pulled it off, gave him his time. Because if it was any quicker, it would have been a disappointment. That was a joke. It absolutely would not have been. It doesn't. You could have said CM Punk is here, and I would have just been, okay, cool. I'm happy. I'm happy. Just more tears. Just bring it. He could have just stuck his head out and waved, and I would have been, oh.
Yeah, you and so many other people, for sure. I wrote down when I was watching, I said, the biggest crowd AEW has seen chanting CM Punk will give you goosebumps, and then I put chills in all caps.
Yeah. I want the shirt. I actually immediately, me and my wife have a very healthy relationship when it comes to buying things, and we don't buy anything without running it by each other. I didn't even think twice. I opened up the app to buy that shirt, and immediately the site was crashed. Too many people were on it, so I still have not been able to order it.
Yep,
which sucks.
Of course,
it broke Pro Wrestling Tees record of most shirts sold, and it did it in under 24 hours.
Undoubtedly.
Before that, it was the Bullet Club shirt.
That's not shocking at all.
Just all of it was just phenomenal. And then how do you follow that up? 3 matches, quick, in 30 minutes, and still just wonderful.
Yeah.
1.1 million people watched it, and that's legally.
Yeah, forget all the people that are finding ways around the law. Sure.
It overtook my social media, and I mean people who aren't wrestling fans or haven't been since Punk was last in 7 years ago, Mm-hmm. It just, it took over my phone. It's my screen.
Yeah, I'm looking at a CM Punk background right now. That's great.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I watched it 6 times, but how many times have I watched the Instagram post or watched his little interview with Tony Khan afterwards or anything? So it's apparently a long-term thing. He doesn't plan on going anywhere else. 10 matches a year is the rumor, I guess, which is more than enough. You know, you have 4 pay-per-views, you have 52 episodes of Dynamite. We don't expect to see him every single time. But he did mention that he may be on commentary when he's not wrestling. So he's looking to do it all.
Okay.
What more do you say? What more do you say? And then today I see an Instagram post with him and Tommy End.
Oh, no shit. I didn't see that. I haven't refollowed all the accounts I unfollowed over the weekend yet.
Yeah, BR Wrestling posted it, and he's with Tommy End in a ring, like an octagon, training. I'm like, oh, God.
That's awesome.
Dream match.
Fuck
right
yeah.
there. Malachi Black and CM Punk. It's going to happen, but just when?
First, we get Punk versus Darby at All Out.
Yeah, that's going to be a match, you know?
I mean, how can that not be great? We've said it over and over. Darby is so fun to watch. Punk's first match back.
Yeah. And he's excited for it, obviously. Not only as, like, I'm gonna come out and whoop you. Like he said it. He goes, I don't know how this is gonna go. He's being real about it, which is like kind of cool to see. You know,
Yeah,
it's
there's
not
no gimmick there. There's
no promo. It's just
Mhm.
you're who I would. He said it tonight. What did he say? If I was 15, you'd be my favorite wrestler.
Yeah.
Can you imagine being Darby Allin and hearing that? By the way.
Yeah, I mean, you got to feel good. You know, I mean, I think Darby knows he's, you know, I mean, for fuck's sake, he's got Sting accompanying him to every match. You know, he's gonna be. I mean, he's already, you know, he's gonna be huge, legendary.
How lucky do you get? You know, you got literally my 2 favorite wrestlers growing up, Sting, when I was young, and then as like a teenager, CM Punk, like, and Darby just gets them both. Like, come on, this is unfair.
Who called him the love child of Marilyn Manson and Tony Hawk tonight? That was fucking gold.
Catch who it was, but I mean, is it wrong?
No, it's spot on, and I love it. It was just great.
He's great, and I can't say enough. We've talked about Darby Allin on here before. He's great. I just can't wait for that match.
Fuck yeah. Punk's first match back. It's going to be great. Pay-per-view in Chicago.
And you know there's going to be another giant pop.
Oh, it's going to be insane.
It's going to take him an hour to get out.
Tried to cut that promo with Tony Schiavone, and the chants were just overtaking the whole thing. It was amazing.
It's incredible. I don't even know what to say about it anymore.
Let's just start from the top, where we left off from last episode. The first episode of Rampage, August 13th. The first thing I want to say, I said it during stream tonight. I don't need Chris Jericho on commentary. Please beat MJF because I can't do it. I can't.
I'm on the other side of that. I love it. I love the obnoxious yelling. It's it was funny because you're not alone on that, because right after it, he was retweeting all the people that were saying, please stop yelling and stuff on Twitter. And he was just like, this is me, boys. It was like, he was just making jokes about being a loud ass. And it was so funny. Like, it brought back so many memories of like when Chris Jericho, like Y2J was a thing, and he had the list, and he was just loud and obnoxious and not so serious. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get that. You're not wrong. It's just too much for me. I can't. It's like nails on a chalkboard, man. It makes my skin crawl. Christian versus Kenny obviously ends with Christian walking away with the Impact title. First ever match on Rampage.
Thank God.
Great match, too. So many close falls on both sides, just back and forth the whole time. It's everything you expected it to be, and such a great preview of what we're going to see it all out, I think.
Yeah, and I hope it is. I hope that we don't get any interference, but I just don't see that happening. I don't know how they're going to do that, but just the interference coming in and Christian using it to win was just great. I mean,
the kill switch onto the chair. So
yeah,
good.
Right onto the chair.
Kenny finally, like, he gets beat at his own game. Finally.
Yeah.
It was great.
And he loses a belt because of it. So I'm hoping that this he takes that and says, okay, well, I can't go that route, because it almost backfired on the Young Bucks too.
I thought we were going to see it repeat itself, and I was a little bummed that it didn't. I thought that would have been a great little.
I'm glad it didn't, for two reasons. Obviously, what comes now, like you get a eliminator tournament, which is cool.
Which has
to
been
begin
so
with.
fun.
We love AEW's tag teams. There you go.
Tag team teams. That's what they call them.
Tag teams. But the winner gets to face Young Bucks in a steel cage. So it's like, that's cool. But I also don't like just seeing the titles being lost the same exact way 4 days after each other. That would be...
Yep. Spice it up.
When it was happening, I was like, beginning of the match, I'm like, Young Bucks would need to lose. This would be so cool going into a pay-per-view where nobody else around Kenny Omega has any titles, so he's just deflated. That'd be so cool. But then the chair comes out, and you just see it going the exact same way, and I was like, no. If they lose this way, I'm not going to be happy about it.
Yeah.
Just not. So I'm glad it went the way that it did.
Through the events of the Eliminator tournament, we know that we're going to get Jurassic Express versus the Lucha Bros, and I would love to see either team, but oh my God, Lucha Bros versus Young Bucks in a steel cage. I mean, we talked about that earlier. That would be an amazing match. They're fun to watch anyway. They all do these just crazy high flying things, and to put them in a cage would be, I mean, there's, some crazy shit will happen off the top of the cage. It would be great. I hope that's my pick. That's where I hope it goes.
And we're on the same page there. We kind of talked about it. That kind of opens up the door for Jungle Boy to kind of go on his own run. You haven't necessarily said it, but I want Jungle Boy to go for the TNT. I think I've said that before.
Yep.
We know next is Eddie Kingston.
That's going to be good. I'm excited for Kingston versus Miro. We said we wanted a real opponent for Miro. That's the first one he's had.
Yeah, that's a real opponent. And I hope Kingston takes it, but I hope everybody takes it against Miro, and it just hasn't happened. But you've been holding me in suspense all night. What was your Miro take?
So yeah, during stream, I teased that I finally decided, before they announced the Kingston and Miro thing, I decided who I wanted as a worthy opponent for Miro. I decided when watching last week's Rampage, and I made a note of it. Miro versus Jade Cargill.
Come on.
You've been sitting there for 2 hours waiting.
I've been sitting here for 2 hours. Yeah, exactly. Longer than that, because it was slightly before.
Oh, shit.
Come on. Is there a reason? Like, do you have... Okay, so I'm going to say this. The intersex matches that other promotions are doing are phenomenal, and I want to see it. I want to see it in AEW, because there's so many good women wrestlers that we just don't see enough of.
I honestly didn't know that when I wrote that down.
I wouldn't hate that.
It's really just because I don't like Jade Cargill and I want Miro to ragdoll her.
Okay, fair enough. And I think that would be a harder challenge to ragdoll her than most of the other opponents he's had. I like her. I don't know why. I don't, because she's got the personality of somebody that I would absolutely hate. Like, she reminds me of The Miz, and it's just like all Hollywood, no wrestling.
Yep.
Or very little wrestling. And I don't like that, but for some reason it works for her, and I enjoy it.
That's all that matters. That's what it's about. That's what they're working for. I decided watching the Miro versus Fuego fight that War Dance Miro does before the big kick. I fucking love that. It's gold. I know you don't like him, and
yeah,
I love to hate him a little bit. You know what I mean? Hey, you know what? In other news, you called it right. Fuego hit his finisher not once, but 3 times.
Wasn't enough to get it done, but he got his contract.
Nope, and that's all that mattered. That was a heartfelt moment. That was great.
Well, I said it to my wife, and I called her after Rampage last week, And I said, I can't believe that I cried 2 fucking weeks in a row. Rampage is 2 for 2 on making Cody cry. So what the hell?
Yep.
What the hell?
You know, I told you, I texted you and said I was avoiding wrestling talk, but I saw a couple spoilers. That was one of the spoilers I saw. Was like I got onto Twitter looking for something and saw you tweet, "God damn it, wrestling made me cry 2 weeks in a row." And then I saw something about Punk, and I was like, "Oh fuck!" So he did debut. I'm like, but I'm not going to look at anything else. I don't know how it'll be cool, and it was cool. But we've already discussed that.
I just want to say you have no idea how hard it was not to text you all weekend.
Yeah.
And just like sent you ugly pictures of me crying and just things along those lines. So I didn't even take any pictures because I knew if I did, I would send them.
Yeah.
I'd be like, I'm just crying because I miss you or something. You know, it wouldn't be anything, no spoilers, but you'd secretly know.
Yeah. I mean, there was no way to avoid it. I tried my hardest, but it was worth the wait. I wish I could have seen it live, but that's okay.
Oh, it was so good.
What else? Britt versus Red Velvet was closing out Rampage.
Pittsburgh show. I mean, it was a good.
Her gear was so cool.
That jacket was so cool, and it let Red Velvet have the red. You didn't have the clash of 2 red in the ring, even though red is very much Britt Baker's color.
Yep.
And just the yellow and black just looks so good on her.
Oh yeah, that gear was awesome. And that was the first we've seen of a trend over the last few weeks that we've kind of seen continually of opponents of wrestlers trying to hit their opponents' finishers. Red Velvet tries to hit the lockjaw, doesn't land it. Britt goes to hit it with the injured hand, reverses it into the other side. That was a great way to end the match. Loved that.
Yeah. No, that was good. And we both kind of, because Red Velvet ripped off the cast, or the whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
And she went to do it with that hand and was like, oh, wait, no. And we're like, oh, shit, is Red Velvet going to come out of this? And she reverses it and puts it in, just flips it around. And just something so small like that, I was like impressed by it. I was like, oh, hey, that's pretty cool.
Yep.
Which you don't get often.
No, totally.
As a headliner, that was just such a good match. And I said it tonight, I love Red Velvet. I'm excited that she's getting her chances. Her match tonight with Jamie Hayter, who came out after that match, and kind of jumped Red Velvet.
Yep.
She got to fight her tonight. For those who don't know, Jamie Hayter is a British wrestler who came back after 2 years, really. I think she was on like the first episode of Dynamite in Pittsburgh while they were still touring. And then COVID hit and she hasn't been back. So she came out, and to be honest with you, she looked completely different. So I didn't recognize her at all. I think you said, "Who's that?" I said, "I don't know."
That's exactly how it went.
Kind of had to look her up to even remember, and then I did. But she's so good too, and it was just like tonight's match between those two. They're both built, they're both good, and it's just not something you see in cable women's wrestling.
Totally.
Very often, it's women's wrestling forever on cable has been who looks best.
Yeah, it's yeah.
You know, and AEW has good looking women, definitely, but that's not the focus. That's not the focus of the match. And WWE's moved away from that as well. It's not just AEW doing that. That's unfair to say, but there's still a lot of just, I'm a good looking girl, so I can be a wrestler out there. And not saying you can't be, but it takes away from the wrestling for a lot of people. And it's nice to see the respectful side of everything, you know?
Yeah, I mean, just, showcasing women for their talent, not their ass, basically, which is cool. The Dynamite that followed first match of the night, we had Mox and Kingston were coming out. Oh, they were coming out. Moxley said he was going to make an announcement, and then 2.0 and Garcia came out and jumped him, I think, right? Is that what happened?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, I'm back on track. So you know by now that I like to mention like funny little things that I just notice in the background that are happening. Did you see the guy holding his like $11 thing of nachos like a baby, trying to like not spill it while Mox and
You're not
Kingston are
spilling
fucking
my nachos.
rolling around in front of him. It was my fucking favorite thing. That was the first note I have from Dynamite that night. I wrote, "Loved the dude trying to hang onto his nachos while Mox and Kingston are getting the shit beat out of them."
Oh god, that'd be me too, though. Like, if I'm buying $11 nachos, I'm not spilling that shit. Like,
well, and they're not even nachos. It's fake cheese and cheap tortilla chips. I mean, they're not. Yeah, no. Anyway. Well, that's for our food podcast.
Yeah, I mean, I get mad at my daughter when I go to the drive-in and she eats one of my chips, like, or one of my jalapenos, which is a recent thing.
Oh, really? She digs them?
Oh, yeah, she digs jalapenos, pickled jalapenos, which is cool, but don't touch my jalapenos.
Yeah, get your own, you little shit.
Sean Moxley. You spill my chips, you're going to have another issue. Another Buffalo Boy's coming for you.
Dr. Dad Cop. Yeah, the whole wrestling in the concourse through there was so cool. And then, so that was, I guess that led into the Sting and Darby versus 2.0 match. Sting goes through a table like it's 1990, like whatever. I mean, that was so cool. And then bounces right back up.
I was going to say, bounces right back up like nothing ever happened. Hits the Stinger Splash with two, or no, it does. What's he do right after that?
Double Scorpion Death Drop.
Oh, Scorpion Death Drop. Yeah, he does that. I don't know why I was thinking they were on the ground. He did a double.
He did do that. He stacked him up in the corner at one point, but
yeah, at one point he did. Just so much. Just he was a powerhouse, like you're used to seeing from Sting.
Yeah, he puts them both on top of each other and ends it with the double Scorpion Deathlock. I mean, that was fucking that was so cool.
Just so cool. It reminded me of like old Sting versus NWA matches where NWA is just getting their ass beat or NWA, yeah. NWO is getting their ass beat, and then
Eazy's brief stint in WCW.
Yeah, Easy.
This podcast is unscripted, folks.
Oh man. But yeah, it just reminded me of the old time where he'd just take on multiple people at once and always come out on top, and he looked good doing it. He didn't look like a 60-year-old man.
Not at all. Not at all.
Just phenomenal. And then speaking of old dudes, we got good old Paul White.
Oh, Uncle Paul gonna wrestle QT. How fucking excited are we for that?
Who'd he choke slam? That was,
I don't remember.
Killed somebody.
I don't remember who he choked. It had to be like Aaron Solo or one of them, I think.
It was somebody, but either way, that match that turned into this match coming up at All Out, and it's just been tonight. There was a moment that we both laughed at that QT Marshall was pointing at Big Show or at Paul White, and he goes, "Don't point at me, son," and he starts to get up, and it ends up being QT Marshall's downfall in the match. So that's where I was going with the whole thing, and I'm not as excited for that match as I want to be.
I mean, it's just going to be Paul White beating the shit out of QT, but I think the nostalgia factor is just going to...
Yeah, I don't need that at pay-per-view, but...
It'll be a fun early card match, you know, see QT Marshall get chokeslammed. I mean, who knows?
Yeah.
I'm excited for it. Haven't seen the big man wrestle in a long time, so... Yeah,
shit, it's been since Royal Rumble a few years back that he was in, but... for me at least. But yeah, I don't know. This All Out, there's a lot to look forward to. I'm excited for the steel cage. I'm excited for the Christian versus Omega. I'm excited for obviously CM Punk. But most of the other matches that have been announced, I'm just okay. MJF and Jericho,
which it feels
for
like
a fourth time.
Jericho is probably going to lose because that's just what they're working towards, but it's like,
yeah,
do we need to see it again?
Yeah,
you know?
If you're gonna quit and do commentary, just do it. I don't need to see this match, especially at a pay-per-view. And then the QT Marshall and Paul White, I'm okay. Once again, doesn't need to be at pay-per-view, but they'll do it though. They'll write it good and it'll be fine. It's just, this is the first time I've looked at a pay-per-view from AEW and been like, oh, they have flaws. There's flawed matches here. But they'll come out and they'll be fine. I mean, it's not like those wrestlers aren't great, and it's not. It's just we've seen it.
Yeah, I'm looking at the card right now as it sits, and unless they announce more, it looks like they've got 10 matches announced right now. So they've got the big, the buy-in, the Casino Battle Royale, the women's title.
Yep.
Kenny Omega and Christian, Pac and Andrade, Uncle Paul and QT, Young Bucks versus either Jurassic Express or Lucha Brothers, CM Punk and Darby Allin, Chris Jericho and MJF, Britt Baker and Chris Statlander. Just announced tonight was Moxley versus Satoshi Kojima from New Japan, who, that name doesn't mean anything to me, but if you're a hardcore New Japan guy, I guess he is a long-time
he's a legend
New Japan wrestler, yeah. And then Miro versus Eddie Kingston for the TNT. So yeah, I see what you're saying, and I don't disagree with you.
There's like 7 out of the 10 of those I'm stoked on. Like, it's gonna be a phenomenal night. Whether or not I like the other matches, it doesn't matter. I guess. Yeah. The Battle Royale is going to be phenomenal. That's good every year. I mean, this is, I think, the second time they've done it. And that's, of course, for the title shot at whoever wins between Chris Statlander and Britt Baker, which hopefully is Britt Baker.
Yeah, I think it'll probably stay with Britt Baker. I think she's going to have a good little run for a while. Not that I don't have love for Chris Statlander. That'd be cool, too. It's just not her time.
I thought about this tonight when Chris Statlander came out. I don't know that I like her.
Really?
Like, she's talented and she's good, and I don't hate her matches. I don't think there's been a match that I've been like, I just hate this character.
Oh, the alien gimmick and the boop and the...
Yeah, it doesn't match for somebody that's going after a title for me. It's not, she's not the fun little best friendy, girl that she was when she started all that. But she hasn't got rid of the gimmick, which I guess you can't just get rid of it. But
yeah,
you can stop booping people and doing that stuff before the match. Like, it's annoying. I don't know.
Doesn't do it for you at the end of the day.
I don't know. I'm not a big fan. I like wrestling. I like her wrestling. If she was holding the title, I think I'd be upset. But what can you do?
I wanted to quickly talk about, before we got away from last week's Dynamite, that Shawn Spears versus Sammy Guevara match was great.
Oh God, yeah. I knew it was going to be.
I mean, Sammy flipped off the stage. He's just an animal. That Death Valley driver onto the barricade that was set up over the ring, over the outside of the ring. That cutter off the top rope. Death Valley driver again off the top rope, close fall after close fall. That was probably my favorite match on that Dynamite. That was so good.
Yeah.
Holy shit, it was so good.
It was incredible. What did you expect? I mean, it's Shawn Spears and Sammy Guevara, but I think for me that was Shawn Spears' first super good match in a long time. He wasn't just the guy who hit Cody Rhodes with a chair anymore. He was his own person and his own feud.
Yep.
That, it spawned from that. That was, the whole Pinnacle versus Inner Circle. This felt like it was its own thing. It wasn't in a spawn of MJF and Jericho.
Yep. It was 100%. It stood on its own. And hey, congrats, Sammy. When he listens to this.
Yeah.
Sammy,
which he will.
Slide into our DMs, tell us how you like episode 4. We heard your criticisms on episode 1, 2, and 3. Congratulations on your engagement, pal.
Yeah. We're coming for your vlog, boy. Which is amazing if you haven't watched it, by the way.
I've seen some of it. I'm not watching every single thing, but I have seen snippets.
Yeah, I haven't. I'd be lying if I said I watched every single one, but there's certain ones that I make sure I tune into. But yeah, that was a great match, and it kicked off the show, didn't it? It was he announced his engagement. Shawn Spears said some things.
Shawn Spears said, I have it quoted here. He said, "Pam, you'll be an honorary member of the Pinnacle tonight. I'll let you be on top." I mean, gold heel shit talking, God level heel shit talking. It was so good.
Yeah. Yeah.
I liked it, I guess. I don't.
Yeah, it was. I did too. It was funny. It worked. And it very much got under, Guevara's skin. So,
which is the whole thing. I mean,
the whole point. A few things outside of AEW that happened as well. I mean, SummerSlam happened right after.
Yeah, I was going to ask if you wanted to get into that. I didn't look at any recaps or get any of the news, but
I watched it.
I didn't know if with 4 episodes of AEW if we had time.
I watched it. And like I said, I don't watch WWE unless it's a pay-per-view. This was obviously a pay-per-view, and it's one of the top 4 pay-per-views, so I watched it. It was terrible. It was bad. There was every opportunity to be one of the best things that I've seen in wrestling in a long time, besides CM Punk coming back. Like, had the potential to be that. Like, you had John Cena coming back. You had some hidden moments that Becky Lynch ended up coming back. Like, Becky Lynch is one of my favorite women wrestlers out there and has been for years. Her coming back could have been up there with CM Punk coming back if you did it right. And at first they did. Like, it was like, oh, we canceled this match. It's supposed to be a rematch between Bianca Belair and Sasha Banks for the title. Bianca Belair took at WrestleMania. Sasha Banks just randomly wasn't there, whether it was an injury or whatever. And Becky Lynch comes out, does the whole thing. 25-second match.
Ew.
25 seconds.
What?
To take a title away from an up-and-coming wrestler who worked her ass off and had one of the best matches to get that title that I've ever seen. And just ruined it. I was like, I don't even, like, you just made Becky go from totally likable to you just gave her the belt because she left with, she just gave the belt away when she left.
Yeah, that's weird. Weird choice.
Like, you can't do that. Like, just have them have a match, sure. Give her the belt if you want to, but make it a match. Not this 25 seconds and ruin it. But, either way, it was terrible, that part. And then the only good match I think that came out of this whole thing was Seth Rollins and Edge. It was up there. Edge, every time Edge wrestles, it's in my top 5.
Okay.
It just comes and it's like, oh yeah, that just overtook whatever the last Edge match was for top 5. It was just so good. And Edge brought back the Brood. I don't know if you remember Brood Edge.
I don't.
Just very dark Edge.
I guess I didn't know it had I didn't know the name to it, but yes, I do recall that period.
He just, I don't even know how to explain it or get into it. It was very, WWE is very linear and the matches are just there, but it was very good. And then you had the main event, which was supposed to be just needle moving, if you want to call what Roman Reigns called it, which it wasn't, but John Cena versus Roman Reigns.
Newsfest, or was it good?
It was terrible. It was just non-eventful. Their biggest thing that happened with it is all a setup to bring back Brock Lesnar, like, who looks like a fucking onion now.
Oh, I've not seen it put more perfectly. He looks exactly like an onion.
He's got the face, he's got the little fuzz here, and then he's got the man bun on top. It's an onion. He looked like an onion. And I love Brock Lesnar. And him coming back, once again, you could have done it right, and it could have been cool. But instead, it's just Brock Lesnar comes out, ragdolls John Cena, which isn't going to fucking happen, first of all. Like, it's John Cena. You have to do a little more respect on his name,
Yeah.
Ragdolls John Cena a few times, and then, another match. You got Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar again. But I saw somebody post, I follow too many wrestling meme pages. Somebody posted the Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns match as the ladder match for custody of Paul Heyman.
Paul Heyman's just hanging up there in the rafters, and you got to climb the ladder and pull him down.
Yeah, it's a ladder match to unhook Paul Heyman. But I died.
It's like hanging by his belt loop up there. I would watch that.
They'll recover. It was just seemed like the whole thing was just such a mess. The arena, Allegiant Stadium, is cashless. They don't do any cash, and all of the systems were down. So if you went, you got free food, free drinks. Like, that was pretty cool, I guess. But, like, how much money did they lose?
A lot.
Doing that. Like, no merch, no food, no drinks, nothing.
Hopefully a lot of people paid for it on pay-per-view.
It was the most watched that they've had ever. It broke records, which, you're welcome, CM Punk. Every wrestling fan that's ever watched WWE was like, "Ooh, what's WWE gonna rebut now? What are they gonna do?"
Yeah. How are they gonna counter?
And they could have done it so well. That was the worst part. Is it could have been equal to it. It could have been right there, and you messed it up. You messed it up. They need to change creative. They have the talent. Whatever. Then the next night, NXT TakeOver. Haven't watched it all. I just watched Adam Cole's match. If that's the last match that Adam Cole has with WWE, it was good. It was phenomenal. He's just such a great talent.
He's the one whose contract was up after SummerSlam, right?
So his contract is up this Friday, apparently.
Okay.
And apparently it's very similar to Malachi Black's 30 Day. And he's married to Britt Baker.
Oh, really?
Adam Cole and Britt Baker are married.
I think I knew that.
I would love it. He's so good.
More big names to AEW, maybe.
I keep going back and forth on it because it's Adam Cole, so of course I want him in AEW, but do I think he'd be better, like, fit for Impact, or New Japan would really be the biggest place for him? But I really want him in AEW. But how many people can we fit in here unless you're giving us another title?
Yeah, that's the thing. You gotta feed everybody to some degree.
Yeah, and if Adam Cole stayed in WWE, I wouldn't put it past him. Like, he's reportedly been offered a multi-million-dollar contract. Like, he's not really being, as far as we know, mistreated. He's getting pushes. He's getting, I think he's in NXT, so it's kind of whatever. But if they rebrand NXT around him,
like he's the face of it, maybe. Yeah, maybe. Sure.
He already kind of is. So, however they want to do it, but I'm excited for it. I'm excited to see where Cole lands, or if he stays, or what's going on. It could very well go into a similar situation as Jeff Hardy, where he's without a contract and he's just kind of doing it. They're paying him whenever to do whatever, and it's worked wonders for Jeff Hardy. He's not doing these stupid storylines anymore. He's getting good matches. He's being able to kind of write his own stuff again and do what he wants. If they do that with Adam Cole, I'd be so happy. Like, just give him what he wants and just keep him for as long as you can until it's not working out, and then let him move. And you have a reason behind it. I know Vince wants to say that AEW isn't competition, but okay, then why has Jeff Hardy got all this power?
Yep.
What are you trying to stop? Oh, you're trying to stop a Hardy Boys reunion at AEW. Yeah.
Oh, please. Oh my God.
Like,
I would shit.
You can talk all day, but if that's why Jeff Hardy all of a sudden is getting this push and getting these phenomenal matches, like, come on. That's why you're doing it. Now, could it be that if the Hardy Boys are in AEW, is that going to make them a competition? Is that going to make them competition? Is that enough for you, Vince?
In his eyes, yeah, probably. How about we brought this up earlier during the live stream? How fun is all just the blatant, like, unfiltered, like, not masking it, not trying to hide it, like, just CM Punk WWE shit talk. Like, my last pro wrestling match was, 2005, whatever, at Ring of Honor.
Yeah.
And now 2021, I'm back. It's fun. I mean, he's got a vendetta about it, and I like it.
And I like how he put it tonight. I'm gonna butcher the quote, but he said he doesn't really hold anything against him, or he's taking these little shots, but he knows, and he kind of said it during the thing, but that he knows that there's a difference between pro wrestling and sports entertainment. What WWE is doing, they don't call themselves pro wrestling. It's sports entertainment. It's their own little thing. So I don't really see it as him taking shots at WWE. I think
okay.
he's giving them their own, like, hey,
he's pointing out
it
that
didn't work for
it's
me.
not the same.
I'm a pro wrestler. I'm not an entertainer. You know,
Okay.
he's in the ring for himself. He's in the ring to prove to himself what he can do. He's not in the ring for you to tell him what's going to happen and just do promos all the time. And you know, he was good at it. He was phenomenal at sports entertainment, but he's a pro wrestler.
Not what he wanted.
That's not what he wanted to do.
Totally.
So
totally.
And you know, people are taking it. You know, you got WWE people who don't watch AEW, and AEW people who don't watch WWE, and just taking everything and causing that collide, which is needed. It's good for wrestling. You know, it's cool. I watch it all.
We've talked about that a ton.
It's good for it. So it is what it is. But he mentioned tonight that someone does have that vendetta against WWE, and that was coming at a later date. So he keeps mentioning the first one. He said we, but you'll have to wait for that.
And then tonight the yes chants start.
Chants,
and
it's
he said that's somebody else's shtick, and you might need to be just a little more patient.
Yeah.
And the crowd was like, there was little tiny cheer after that. I mean, that was kind of a ooh, what did he just say moment?
Yeah, it's happening. I mean, we've known that was right the same day as Punk.
They're not hiding it. You're playing the waiting game and wondering when.
Yeah, American Dragon is going to come. It's there, and we don't know if this is you're waiting for your 90 days. We don't know when his contract was really up. He just kind of disappeared, or we're just waiting for the right moment. Are we waiting for All Out? Are we waiting for next week's Rampage? Is the first thing that's going to happen is Bryan Danielson coming out, or
who knows? Who knows?
or what? God, if they did that 2 weeks in a row, they'd be 3 for 3 on the tiers.
I think they'll push it a little longer.
Yeah.
I think they're gonna let this Punk hype ride.
I wouldn't be surprised if All Out there was something.
Maybe.
Jesus, can you imagine during the Darby Allin Punk match, a special enforcer, just a secret special enforcer just comes out and it's Bryan Danielson? That'd be crazy. It'd be too much. They won't do that because that would defeat the whole purpose of the match being a proving to myself moment. Yeah.
Did you notice just in the fun like Easter egg land, it was the Dynamite before Rampage where Punk debuted. You know, the whole thing about, we talked about that promo, the Elite Cut, where everybody was like, oh, Kenny's wearing a Cookie Monster shirt, Cookie Monster, CM Punk. Did you notice that Wednesday before that Rampage, he was wearing a shirt that said Chick Magnet with like a little chick on it?
Yeah.
That was great. I mean, that was obviously 100% on purpose. Who knows if the Cookie Monster shirt was or wasn't, but I just thought that was a cool little thing.
It's a little thing that I caught that probably didn't mean much, and I think I let out a little during the CM Punk thing. He said it. I wanted to, you know, say hi to my wife sitting on the couch at home. His wife is AJ Lee. She was a wrestler back in the day for WWE as well, who is reportedly also not contracted. She was cut, I believe, part of one of those cuts. And she's been having some discussion, I guess, around how big of a fan of Britt Baker, like the entire family is. CM Punk, obviously, is like his first words. Or making a man feel like Britt Baker in Pittsburgh.
That was cool.
Yeah, like they are just such big fans, and just seeing that, and then Britt Baker said something, seeing AJ Lee and AEW would be phenomenal. There's so much space. Like if you give me AJ Lee too, I don't even know what to say. Like I would just be so happy. So that happened. That little thing that kind of connected with what Britt Baker was talking about on social media.
Malachi Black. I mean, we wouldn't be the official Malachi Black fanboy podcast if we didn't bring up the beating he gave to Mr. Anderson and Jr. Mr. Anderson. I didn't even mean to do that. Arn Anderson and Brock Anderson. And now it's going to be maybe him versus Lee Johnson. Lee Johnson came out to save the day right at the end of tonight's episode.
Yeah, and
That could be a good match to see.
That'll be a good match, and hopefully it's a good match because I don't want Malachi Black to get into Miro territory where it's just him kicking the shit out of everybody in 5 seconds and then moving on. Seems like you're already doing that. Let's give him some good matches. But I understand you have to play off the Cody thing. You have to go through the Nightmare family, and I think Lee Johnson's a good place to stop that.
Yeah, I don't think it'll go anywhere. I mean, who knows? I don't think it'll go anywhere past that. Still haven't heard anything from Cody, by the way. That kind of left my mind, but
yeah,
that's just kind of sitting back somewhere.
I'm sure there'll be some sort of all out.
Whenever the Malachi Black Lee Johnson fight happens, I think is when that's gonna resolve itself. Probably.
I think it'll, because all Malachi Black seems to be looking for is mutual respect.
Yeah.
And I think Lee Johnson can give him that. I think if it's a good match, I think it'll end. And whoever wins. But I think it'll be a bow out. Hey, we surrender. Leave us alone.
Acknowledgement of the dominance thing, I think. Yeah, sure.
Because who else are you going to have him fight? Dustin Rhodes?
Maybe. I don't need to see it.
Dustin's a coach. He's not going to do it. I mean, I guess Arn is too. So, but Arn's, a little more involved in it, I guess. I would like to say that we're more of a CM Punk fanboy podcast now, but it's
that's it. This is where we diverge. I'm gonna go do my Malachi Black podcast, and I'm down for.
Malachi Black is still phenomenal, and
we just the Punk hype overtook it, and I'm here for it. I'm okay with it. I get it.
I don't think, and I think that's part of the whole thing is they did it so well that it didn't overshadow anything. Like even the rest of Rampage was so good. It didn't overshadow it.
No.
I couldn't tell you what the matches
I didn't love the Jade Cargill and Kiera Hogan. I don't know Kiera Hogan really, but I was excited to see her, and it was just a fucking job. I mean, it was just Jade Cargill. And it's because I don't really like her. It probably didn't help, but like, I put down, hated the Jade Cargill versus Kiera Hogan match. And that was when I put Jade Cargill versus Miro. That's the next note right below that.
Yeah, I guess that match was, I didn't hate it. Like I said, I like Jade. I think her getting that power move and pushing towards that whole thing is kind of cool.
The last one was Daniel Garcia versus Moxley.
That's right.
Garcia got the main event on Rampage. I wanted to point that out. His nice little push continues, and we got to see him for a second tonight when he came out after the Darby, Kingston, and Moxley match again. Which, hey, we asked for that trio every week, and so far we're getting it.
Yeah, I'm excited for that. I love that trio, but I want to see what is. Obviously, Darby's fighting Punk. Is next week Dynamite going to be Darby versus Garcia?
Maybe. Be fun to see.
Yeah, I'd be open to that. I mean, I like Garcia's phenomenal. That match was great. It looked like he had him, and then kind of rookie mistake, as he called it, leaned over too far, and Mox got him in
on the sharpshooter, and he gets him into the bulldog choke. That was great. Yeah, Mox had a great quote. He's great at promos. We saw that tonight with that. The one about the New Japan guy coming, but he said Daniel Garcia has a better chance of getting me pregnant than submitting me in that ring tonight.
Yeah.
Great quote.
And
great Moxley quote.
And you know what? I think that humbled him a little bit because he came very close.
Mm-hmm.
He came very close. Moxley was in trouble and then just leaned over too far and got it. And Daniel Garcia said, rookie mistake. I won't make it again.
Yep.
So we'll see where it goes.
I was excited coming back to that Rampage that I missed, over the weekend when I was out of town, because Andy Williams, the Butcher, who we love, as we talk about every episode. Somehow he comes up. He hasn't been on AEW, and we've talked about the Butcher episodes 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Yeah.
But he posted that he was at Rampage that Friday, the Friday that Punk debuted, and I thought, ooh, maybe we'll see something
I was hoping
there. Although, like, looking back now, I don't know what we would have seen because there was really no situation for him to interject himself into.
Yeah, I think everybody on the roster was there.
Yeah, I mean, why
Like,
wouldn't you be? Why wouldn't you be?
You know it's happening. Why wouldn't you be there? Like, they're wrestling fans first, you know?
Yeah, 100%. That was exactly what
Tony
who said that
Schiavone.
tonight? Tony Schiavone.
Yeah.
That was great.
I remembered what I was going to say.
Oh, okay.
It was Kenny Omega versus Andrade for the AAA.
AAA. Yeah, and who showed up? Well, first of all, Kenny kept his belt.
Yeah, Kenny kept his belt.
So he didn't lose that gold.
But Ric Flair
Yep.
coming out and giving Kenny the old 1-2.
Yep.
Slapping him a few times there.
Getting him in the figure 4 too, right?
Yeah, he did a figure 4. God, he looked bad.
He looked bad. I just saw a cell phone video of it. I didn't see anything else.
Andrade did the figure 4 with him. Cool moment, like just super cool moment. But some of those smacks, dude, just looked so bad. I mean, the guy's pushing 80. Like, what are you expecting from him, you know? But just seeing him there was cool because Andrade, it's going to be his father-in-law. I don't know.
You said that. I think you said
He's
that.
marrying. Andrade is engaged to Charlotte Flair.
Yeah, I think I knew that. We talked about that.
So him coming, that's his first outside of WWE after his release. That's his first showing. I saw something to where when Kenny Omega found out Ric Flair was going to be there, he said that he wants to lose the title. He wanted to give Andrade the title.
No shit.
And they just wouldn't let it happen. They wouldn't do it.
Hmm.
So whether that's a storyline they have planned for him that, hey, no, you can't lose that title here. Sorry, we got other plans for that title, which if it's not losing to Andrade with Ric Flair, what is it?
Yeah.
You know, so which
you gotta wonder.
I think probably a homegrown star. You know, give it to somebody in there. Same thing Impact is going to do, and somebody at Impact is going to be Christian for the title, and it's going to go back to normal. You know, get some interjections from other places, but let up and coming stars have the titles. Speaking of Impact and the person that I want to take it, rumor has it, my boy Zicky Dice is apparently Impact, so I'll be visiting you in Nashville.
All right, we can hit up a taping.
Yeah, dude, I'd love to.
Go see
I would love to.
Mr. Outlandish.
Apparently, he hasn't announced it. Impact hasn't announced it, but other wrestling promotion or other like outlets have said that he has signed a multi-year contract with Impact. So hopefully that's true. Guys, if you haven't seen Zicky Dice, if you're a fan of wrestling, like I'm sure you have, because I mean, everybody has mentioned him. Brandon Cutler just reached out to or just posted a GQ article with Jonah Hill looking a lot like Zicky Dice and said, Zicky, when did you do an article with GQ? He has Doc Gallows on his Twitch all the time. Like he's friends with all these people. So like if you follow these other people, you probably know who he is. If you haven't watched him wrestle, please do. It's phenomenal. Look up some old NWA matches from when before the pandemic when he was there. It's just great persona. Happy to see him signed finally, and hopefully can see him on my TV.
Hell yeah,
coming up.
That's great. Good for you, Zicky. That's awesome.
Yeah, congratulations, bud. If it's true, we'll see.
Yeah, if it's true.
I think tomorrow night is when the taping that apparently he was on should be showing up on TV. So I'll watch it tomorrow night and we'll see.
We'll have to keep an eye out. We got love for the Dark Order, so we'd be remiss not to mention they just cut a little promo tonight, some infighting that's been going on. We know that whole thing.
Yeah.
But I just thought what Alex Reynolds said to Uno was just because one is in your name, you're not the leader of the Dark Order. It just felt like an interesting thing to say amongst all the
rumors.
Even before the Bray Wyatt thing, it was who's going to be the next leader of the Dark Order. But now that Bray Wyatt is, technically a free agent, I just thought that was an interesting thing to say, and it's worth noting here.
Yeah, somebody's going to be taking over, obviously, and hopefully rebanding everybody. It's not going to be Adam Page. I have two possibilities.
Okay.
First one is the obvious Bray Wyatt. Like,
Yep.
Bray Wyatt comes in. It's not going to be Bray Wyatt, obviously, but
Yes.
Bray Wyatt. Coming, taking over, rebranding everybody. But the other one, Miss Anna Jay, coming back. She's been hurt. It's kind of been since she's been hurt that everything's been on the wayside and going badly. And she was very much like, I don't want to say right-hand man to Brody Lee, but like when Brody beat Cody, he let her take Brandy out. You know what I mean? Like, it was kind of cool. So I would like to see her when she comes back be the leader.
Yeah, you've been saying that.
Like,
I think long before I even knew who the Dark Order was, you had said that to me, and I was like, oh yeah, sure. Like, I had any idea what the fuck you were talking about.
yeah, and it seems like she's close to coming back. So hopefully that's true. But no, I think that'd be cool. You know, a little motherhood figure to getting everybody back together.
They definitely teased something by saying that. Well, not teased something, but they're implying. Obviously, there's an implication behind that.
Yeah.
I just want to end by saying Dan Lambert is annoying as fuck, and I don't need him anywhere. You know what? God, whatever deity in the sky is listening, put Chris Jericho on commentary and just take Dan Lambert off of my TV. I don't need to see him. I don't need to hear his rant about lazy millennials crying in safe spaces and shit. Like, just go away, dude. I don't need it.
Yeah.
I don't want it. I'm good.
I hope it's a promo for something Bellator does, like Jake Hager going back to Bellator for something. I just hope we're not bringing any more UFC or fighters in and
I don't need it.
Wrestling, because we don't need it. We just don't need it.
Come back looking like onions.
Yeah.
And that, folks, is what we call a callback in comedy. We'll see you in 2 weeks.
See you in 2 weeks, guys. Thanks for listening. Like, subscribe,
share,
anywhere.
subscribe.
Yeah, there you go. Anywhere you can listen to podcasts, we are there.
All right, goodbye. Anything you want to add before we hit disconnect?
Let's go.
Oh, hey, guys. Cody left. That's fun. That happens right in the middle of a fucking sentence.
What happened?
You disappeared on me.
Oh, okay. So anyway, it was the most watched